I have exactly $12,511.43 in credit card debt spread across 8 different cards, and every single one of them is in collections. And almost none of it is with anything that you would consider a luxury. It's tires, it's taxes, it's groceries, just the basic cost of being alive that my income simply cannot cover. Since I was 18 years old, I've carried the shame of this debt, believing that I was just bad with money. But today, we're talking about the difference between a character flaw and an income problem. My name is Gerald and I am money drunk. And I tell you, I remember my first credit card. I was standing in the student union and I filled out one of those applications, and a couple of weeks later I got my first credit card, and I think it had $500 or $800 in available credit. I can't remember exactly, but I remember immediately using it, and soon after I started abusing it. And ever since then, I have been in some level of credit card debt. It got really bad, I remember, when I got my first American Express Gold card. I really felt like I had arrived. And for me, that card signaled to the world that I belong here, that I deserve to be here, that simply by having this credit card, this symbol, this signal of status meant that I belong here. It was really then that my sense of self-worth really began to take a decline. I was looking for that self-validation from something outside of me. I was looking for this external locus of control to tell me that I was worthy, to tell me that I was enough. The more and more that there was a gap between my cost of living, and mind you, I'm just talking about paying for gas, I'm talking about paying for electricity, I'm talking about paying for rent. I'm not talking about any sort of expensive purchases or vacations or expensive dinners or anything like that. I'm just talking about a very basic level of existence. My income was never able to meet that cost of living. One of the things that I began to do was bridge that gap with credit cards. I would be able to maybe get a better job or earn a little bit more money and begin to save some money and pay off that credit card bill. But then I would invariably lose that job, again, because of that low self-esteem, not doing my job correctly, not doing what was required of that job, losing that income, and then that credit card debt would start to spiral up again. And I go through that cycle over and over and over again. And I've lost more than one relationship over that cycle that I have absolutely no control over, that I'm entirely powerless over. And I remember this idea that being born into poverty is not your fault, but remaining there in poverty is your responsibility. By no means was I born into poverty. I've talked about in other videos how I was born with every conceivable advantage. I still have this gap between what I'm earning and what I'm spending. I'm spending beyond my means. And that's chipping away at my self-esteem. It's chipping away at my sense of self-worth each and every day. And that's the cycle that I'm in. And yeah, I get it. The system is rigged against us, all right? I understand that. But at the same time, I still need to take personal responsibility over my own self-esteem and my sense of self-worth. I can't continue to look outside for that sense of self-esteem and that sense of self-worth. I have to begin to look inside of myself. So how do I begin to do that? How do I begin to increase my income so I can just pay for my basic needs, not continue to be in this credit card debt and to be insolvent and to spend beyond my means? How do I begin to do that? It starts with one single step, taking that first step. Maybe it's taking a step backwards here, being a little bit more compassionate with myself, not beating myself up so much for losing that job or missing this opportunity. Yeah, that happened. That's in the past. And I got to forgive myself for that. And I got to love myself in spite of all that. Because what's really, really important now is that I take that very next step, that I get myself up off the floor and I take the next action. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter whether that action is right or wrong, good or bad. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm gaining momentum forward, I can course correct along the way. I don't know if $12,000 is a little or a lot. It may be a little to some people. It may be insurmountable to others, just like it feels insurmountable to me, just because I don't have the income to be able to pay down that debt. So let me ask you this. What's one action that you could take towards getting rid of that debt, to letting go of that shame, to being able to forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made? Because we've all made mistakes. Some of us more than others. Irregardless, that's what makes us human. And the quicker that I can forgive myself for those mistakes, the quicker that I can begin again to take that next right action. So what action can you take today? What's one small step forward that you can make that would better your future? It may not make it better in 5 minutes. It may not make it better tomorrow. It may not make it better next month. These small habits stack. And what you do today can greatly affect your future. If any of this made sense to you, if any of this resonated with you, if you got something from this message today, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you're going through. Like I said, if this resonates with you, go ahead and subscribe so that you can get more content just like this that's talking about the issues that you're facing each and every day. Join me on this journey as I begin to get money sober. Check out this next video right over here that talks about exactly the journey that I'm going through.